WTV. We are back. And Albert.
Just because you wanted us.
Albert, don't
Yes.
you have an amazing guest today?
I do. I have an amazing, in another place, in another realm, in another studio. We have, ladies and germs, Kash Hovey.
Good morning.
Candace, thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming here this morning, and thank you. We woke him up out of bed so early.
But he looks great for, maybe he uses the same moisturizer I do. Formaldehyde. Keeps you young. Is that what you soak in, Kash?
Yep, I take all of Al's secret tips.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, and you guys, because we are coming to you live this morning at 7:21 in the morning on Wednesday, please engage Kash in any questions, any comments. We love suggestions. He's
Absolutely.
here to talk to you guys. So, welcome him, say hi to him, and let's ask Kash a little bit about himself.
Why not? Go ahead, ask him.
So,
go ahead.
You guys,
Yeah.
we have Kash Hovey here with us. He is an actor. He's got his own show and all this kind of good stuff. So, Kash, tell us a little bit about yourself. Did you originally, are you from LA or did you come from someplace else?
I was actually born and raised here in Los Angeles, born in St. John, Santa Monica, and yeah, I grew up all over town.
That's crazy. Like nobody is ever from LA.
I'm from LA, and my dad used to work at St. John's Hospital.
No.
Yes, he was a plant engineer. He worked in the bowels of the earth. He went way down, way down.
So then, if you've always grown up around the entertainment industry, when did you decide you were going to get into it, and then how did you go ahead and pursue your career?
Oh gosh, you know what? I was always performing when I was a kid. I was watching Back to the Future for as long as I can remember. I had a toy car that I could fit in, and I was always recreating the clock tower scene. I was building blocks. I was watching Eddie Murphy movies. I was just always I was always putting on costumes.
He was that kid.
I was
that kid that always performed for
everybody. I wanted
everybody.
to play sports. I wanted to dress up, get my Ghostbusters uniform on, and oh yeah, we had a group of kids in the neighborhood. We'd always put on plays, and we were always dressing up and performing.
So it was only natural that you were going to be an actor.
Exactly.
You're like, I'm going to be an actor.
So Steven says good morning to you. He says, hey, Kash.
Hey.
Hey, good morning.
Awesome. So you guys engage Kash because he is here. He's going to be talking to you about his career and also
Ask
his
him
experiences in the entertainment industry. Absolutely. So did you, for people that are out there that might want to get into the entertainment industry, did you take any specific courses or classes knowing that you always wanted to do this?
Absolutely. I was, let's see, I think I was about 12 when, actually I was 10 when I started using my dad's camera. I mean, now everyone has cameras on their phones, so I think anyone coming up has a great advantage right now because there's so much great technology available. Yeah. And then, so we were always making movies on our dad's camera, and then when I was 12, he gave me a camera for my birthday. So I just pulled out the camera, we would write stories, we would make videos, and I mean, really, to anyone coming up now, just really take advantage of everything you have. I mean, there's great programs with the computer. We all have phones. We can just pull out our phones and make a movie. And really, I just think there's never been a better time. There's just so much available to you, and there's just so many innovative ideas and so many festivals. Everyone has a voice. We can all tell our stories. It's really a good, and stay around people who inspire you. It's true.
I mean, nowadays technology is like literally in the palm of your hand. Like you said, with the phone, you can make a movie. Gary Oldman made a movie on his iPhone. Yeah, I don't know if it was any good, but he made it. At least you have the opportunity. And then you can edit yourself. You can basically be a one-man team. You can be your own director, your own cinematographer, actor. I don't know if you've done it. Have you tried it yet? Have you tried doing a one-man kind of? It's like a one-man play, but for the technology age. Have you done that yet? Have you?
I haven't done a one-man play, but I did my first stand-up over the summer via Zoom. So that was kind of interesting in itself. I mean, I do 5 minutes, and I mean, I can do certain things live. Doing comedy is really hard. I mean, stunt training and everything else is a lot easier. I mean, I was nervous. It was interesting. I mean, I was glad that I was able to have the experience on Zoom, and then I was able to look at the footage. But
that's kind of cheating, though. Isn't that kind of cheating because you don't have the audience?
I need to do a live show.
You need a heckler going like, "Hey, you're not funny. Get off the stage, you bum."
Well, that actually brings up a good point. As a stand-up and you're doing your 5 minutes, do you actually get some type of response from the audience when you're doing it on Zoom?
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah, because we had I think there were about 10 of us, and then we invited guests. And I mean, most of the time people were muted, so I could hear a few laughs, but definitely I could tell right away if something missed. You can hear the crickets. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna, I got to work on that one. But there were a few jokes that got in there and I think resonated. So yeah.
Well, that's so funny. Actually, what you were saying before, you really brought up a good point. How important do you think it is for actors today to be able to create their own content using today's, technology, and to be able to be empowered and be proactive rather than waiting for that phone to ring?
Oh, I think it really, because I mean, I can remember a time before social media. So, I mean, right when I was like a kid and getting started, it was really before social media took off and so much was available. So, I mean, I've had to play that waiting game, and you're like, okay, they're not going to call, or I'm not going to get this role. But now what you're just saying about being empowered, you can just really pick up your camera, and even with social media, you can connect with people who are like us, who are very artistic, who want to get out there and create. I mean, even through social media, I found out about so many great film festivals like Holly Shorts, Dances with Films. I've met great filmmakers, and then a lot of times I've worked with people. They've invited me to their premiere. They come to my premiere, and then we'll be like, hey, Kash, you'd be good for this. Or I'll think of some, hey, I really liked you coming. I want to see your movie. Let's work together on something. So I think there is a better sense of community now in the artistic world where you have access to more people. Even on my show, one of the greatest things was there were people that I would run into at events, or people like we'd casually, we'd be on set, say a few words, and then with social media, we're able to connect and see what each other are up to. And then when I start the show, I'm like, hey, or just even like right now, it's like, hey, come on my show, I'll come on your show. And
yeah, it's kind of an experiment, but I think it's working pretty good so far. We're testing the waters. We're doing kind of like a cross-pollination of things. You promote us, we promote you. And you're good about that. I know you have this film, kind of like a little friend. What is it, Kash, Hovey and Friends film? Kind of a film festival, don't you? I remember attending that.
LA Live, yes. Oh my gosh. Edward, the festival director at Film Fest LA Live, he started giving us a block about 3 years ago. So annually they call it the Kash, Hovey and Friends Film Block, and really, it's been a great way. We get a lot of my colleagues and friends who I've worked with. They bring their innovative projects, whether it's music videos, short films, feature films, and it's really just a great celebration. They give us a great event, and we're able to feature a lot of our friends who have been doing great things in the industry.
Well, that brings up a good point too. Like, how important do you think, for you specifically, and also for others that are out there, networking has played a role in your career? Because you've got talent, but then tell us about the business aspect of show business.
Oh, I mean, no, thank you for that. I appreciate that compliment, but I'm really a collaborative person, and filmmaking is such a collaborative form. I mean, it's not a one-person show. I'm really dependent on great writers, great producers, great directors. I mean, so much goes into creating anything substantial, and I give credit to just anyone in any department of the industry. And I really, if I've been able to do anything, it's because I've had a great team, and I've had great colleagues and a great support group.
The business aspect of the, you're like the right hand and the left side of the brain. And the business aspect of the industry sometimes can be a little daunting, and that's why we have managers and agents and publicists and stuff to handle all that stuff, because that stuff is a whole different world.
It is, but by the same token, I think you have to be really, really proactive. So, Kash, what would you suggest to people that are just starting out? It's like you have, like Albert said, the right brain, creative part of you, right, to get into the industry and want to create. So what about the left brain, really logical aspect? What would you recommend to people that are watching right now, how they would manage their business of acting or producing or directing, being in the entertainment industry? Is it like organization or...
Oh, definitely. Well, truthfully, when I got into it, I was just really about being an artist. I just wanted to act. I wanted to create. I wasn't really that business savvy, but I still was. I did have parents who were very supportive of what I did, but they were very adamant about getting an education. I did go to college. I got my degree in communication studies. I worked different jobs when I was in college, and a lot of that did prepare me for, I mean, like it does with anybody in any industry, just getting out there, working with people. And really, when I was starting out, I was pretty naive. I mean, I would just go to auditions, and I was just so dependent on agents and managers. But then with social media, I think that I felt empowered to be more business savvy, because I do feel like I was at, like I'd act in a movie, and then I'd want to go make something happen, but then something would fall through, and then sometimes I would just take on a producer role. So then if someone came to me with an idea, that just a lot of the rejections and whatever pitfalls I had in the past, just learn from your mistakes. Don't let it get to you and stay with you. Be like, hey, that didn't work out, but I'm going to take whatever experience that didn't work out. I'm going to roll it into creating something positive. And even just going to events and learning about, like we'd make a movie, and then I really just, even with social media and with going to film festivals, promoting movies, I did learn a lot about the business aspect. So I feel like at times I've had to play a producer, or, I do produce, so that's became another career. And then even I had to learn about publicity and even just being on the other end, because I have worked at, I've worked for agents in the past, I've worked for managers in the past as well too. So just even having that background, it makes me look at things from all perspectives. Now I feel like I really want to focus on being a producer and actor, but because I had those experiences, it allowed me to look at things from all points of view. Like, this person has to go through this. This person's job is deals with this. So it's just, I feel like it's important to really be business savvy, because in a lot of ways, as much as I just want to be an artist, you do have to. So much is in your control now, and we can manage ourselves. But it is very good when you really find your clique and you have the right people on your team and working with you as your colleagues.
Yeah, unfortunately, I agree with you 100%, because is trying to focus on the positive. There are some unsavory characters out here in Hollywood, and it can be like swimming in a pool of sharks, because you could meet somebody you think has got your best interest at heart, and they really don't, and they're in for it for themselves. So it is, like they say, buyer beware, because sometimes you may run into somebody that you think is a good guy and is not a good guy or a good gal, and you have to find out the hard way. So it's good that your parents made you go to college and get some schmatz in there, so you can recognize that people are like, I don't think he's got my best interest at heart. I think he's out to just play me or whatever. And it's unfortunate, but this town is full of people like that are just out to get you, out to get you.
Out to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's true, Al. And in the classroom prepares you for a lot, and then it's really, because I got my degree, and then when you're out there, and even just getting out there, and you watching certain movies that were popular at the time where they show the inside of the business, and you think, oh my goodness, this is so scary. But then just like with anything in life, I really just, even a lot of those negative experiences, they weren't pleasant at the time, but I do feel like they did help me grow. And then now I go into a situation where, I've been there, I've experienced that character in my life. Now I don't want to, you just gain knowledge and you move forward.
Well, actually that brings up another thing that you had just said, because you said that you were talking about rejection. Do you also, what have you feel like you've learned from your rejections here in Hollywood?
Oh gosh, that's you really. I remember certain things would get to me, or one of the. Oh gosh, I was just talking about this the other day with a friend, but just because when I was younger and I was just starting out, I was already 6 feet by the time I was 13, so I was going out for older roles, so people would think I was a senior, but I'm like, no, I'm still in middle school. And so there were times when I would go out for certain jobs, and they'd be like, oh, great. And then how old are you? Oh, you're 15. We need someone 18. Or they wouldn't say it to your face, but I would look at who got the role. So there were a few times I was like that close, but then, then it's funny too. Sometimes I would end up knowing the person later in life, or our paths would cross again. But it's cool. And I think a lot of the times we, oh gosh, there were a few roles I was like, wow, I was just almost there. There was just, I got to the finals. It was just down to me and one other person. But I guess I'm more of a glasses half full kind of a person too, where I went through a lot of that rejection. And I won't lie, it did, especially when you're younger, it does get to you. And sometimes I let a lot of things stick on me for a while. But then just, I think the older you get, you just realize, just life's a journey. And I just always think, okay, that didn't work. And I need to be reminded this too. I just had someone on my show the other day, and she was talking about how you can't compare yourself to other actors. You can't compare yourself to what other people have. You really have to just focus on what you can do and what your motivation is. And I need to be reminded that to this day. But really, I do feel like whenever something doesn't work out, it just opens an opportunity for something better to happen.
Yeah, Hollywood is a weird place. It's not like I've told this to different people over the years. I go, it's not like if you're a lawyer, you go to college, you go to law school, you go to boom, you're a lawyer. And people try to disseminate different ways of how do I become famous as an actor? How do I make it in this town? And I always tell people, you know what? Sometimes you have to be at the right place at the right time, because you can go to all these acting classes. You can go to, I went to Juilliard, I went to this, I took this class, and sometimes that doesn't amount to a hill of beans. Maybe you're at some. You have a great reputation, and somebody goes like, I want to work with this guy. And nowadays with social media, you could have this huge presence. I remember at the time when I was working with Wire Image, I had heard that Eli Roth had cast one of his films by just going to Wire Image and looking to see who was the hottest person at the time, and that's what I had heard.
Wow.
So you never know how you're going to get cast in a film. Maybe you happen to run into a producer, or maybe he sees you on your own podcast, and he's like, I like his energy, I like the way he is. Mm-hmm. So you just never know in Hollywood. It's just like and sometimes it is nepotism, and it's who you know, but you build these relationships with people. And I always tell people, be nice, because people want to be. I mean, talent does go a long way, but if you're not a nice person, it's like, ooh, I'd love to work with this guy, but he's got this reputation. He has meltdowns on sets if he blah, blah, blah. Or I like this person, he's great to the cast and crew. He's someone I want, he's a leader. He brings everyone brings everyone to their A game, so they're like, it's all this different combination of things for actors that I think, but I firmly believe that if you're a nice person, you're gonna get your just desserts, and that's the same thing. If you're an ass, you're gonna get your just desserts as well.
Well, I think that people just want to work with somebody every single day on set for 12 to 14 hours a day, with somebody who's likable and somebody that people like to go to see every single day, because you're stuck with everybody for so long.
Yeah.
So you definitely just want to be a nice person that people want to work with.
Exactly.
I think
helpful.
That's what it is.
I mean, I've read some horror stories. I'm sure you've dealt with certain people. You're like, is this person difficult? And then you meet them, you're like, yeah, they're difficult. And then you can, and then there's, I'm sure some fans out there tell us in your chat that you're like, why isn't so-and-so working as much? Why isn't so-and-so? And the people that in the industry, you're like, oh, I'll tell you why so-and-so isn't working, because he's a jerk and nobody wants to hire him, or she's difficult, or she has these demands or whatever. Certain celebrities have, or stars have demands, and they're just too much, either too expensive, or they're just, the demands are, I want all my jelly beans to be one color. If there's one color wrong, you're going to get it. Faye Dunaway. I mean,
it's so funny because speaking of that, because you were talking about wearing different hats and everything.
Yeah.
You are an actor and you also produce, and you said Hollywood is a strange place. Did you
is.
come in being an actor not knowing you were going to be a producer, but then also saw validity in doing that position as well? Or did you plan to do both? Which one do you like best? I always find it interesting when people are actors plus.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, truthfully, when I was a kid, all I wanted to do was act. I would be I would totally be happy to just, be able to be on set every day, be an actor, have a great job. That would do it for me. But even when I was younger, there were just always these stories, or you saw a lot of actors who were taking on producer roles too, like with Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, or like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon with Good Will Hunting. Like those were just stories that people were talking about a lot when I was growing up. And again, too, I think in the 2000s, just wearing different hats became, a lot of actors had their own production companies. So that was always something that I was reading about. And then I think even just making our own movies, I was always playing that role anyway. I just had my friend Allison Snyder on, and she was a lot like me growing up. Like for when we'd have sleepover parties at kids, we were like passing out call sheets and making movies with our friends. Watch the movie at
Your call sheet.
Exactly. So as far as, and then as I got older, I was, I'd go do a job, or then I'd talk to somebody, or sometimes we would, a friend of mine who was a producer or one would be like, hey, Kash, I have this idea for a movie. And then I'd be working at, for an agent or manager, and then they would bring me a script, and I'd be like, this sounds pretty cool. Maybe we can get in on this. So it was basically, I think the producing professionally really started for me was when people would have an idea, we'd want to get it going, and then just whatever skills I had acquired working for different agents when I was younger, just working for different people in the industry, I really applied that to, okay, this is how we'll get a movie made, or here's this idea, who would be good for this person. And so I'd call a friend of mine, and then we'd start getting people involved in making our products.
Oh, that's awesome. And Ty says hello to you, Kash.
Hi, Ty.
So you guys, we have Kash Hovey here today. He is an actor and a producer here in Los Angeles and Hollywood.
Hollywood.
So we are coming to you live at 7:40 in the morning on a Wednesday. So because Kash is here and he's live, you guys please engage him in the chat. Ask him any questions, comments. We love suggestions.
Of course.
Because he is here for you. We got him out of bed super early for you. So he is here. Please engage him in the chat right now.
I talked to Kash yesterday, and Kash is you're an early riser, Kash. This is not a problem for you. You like to get up in the morning.
I was up at 6 today. I had my workout, did my coffee. I'm like, let's do this. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Oh, you're kidding.
Look, he's right. He's like spot on. He's like, ding! I'm ready to rock.
Awesome.
Ready to go.
Well, let's talk about that. That actually makes me think of a point. Being self-motivated in this business because nobody else is going to do it for you.
Exactly.
And you sound like a very self-motivated person that you've already got in your workout. Many people are still in bed right now. Tell people, or what do you suggest to people that are out there to explain to them how this business is really run by you? You may have managers, you may have agents, and a coterie of people around you, but how do you control center to make things happen?
Absolutely. And like I said, I'm a very collaborative person. I give credit to everyone who I work with, every colleague of mine. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if I didn't have great people around me and working with me. However, I do feel like it really is it's our own personal responsibilities to make things happen. I mean, definitely, I'll be honest, during the holidays, and there were just times the past year where I would sleep in and I would just be like, nothing's happening right now. But, I was working pretty nonstop for a decade. So I felt like, okay, I need to rejuvenate. And then really at the beginning of the year, I'm like, you know what, I'm getting back on track. And so I was really, for me, it's weird. Something clicks, like, cause during the holidays, there was probably a month where, I was snacking and I was just sleeping in, and then I'm like, I'm like, you know what? I needed that rejuvenation period. Now it's time to get back to work and get that hustle I've been having for the last decade.
What happened during the pandemic? You just eat and eat and eat like.
I can't tell you the snacks and the stuff that I would start eating. I was just, oh my goodness, I haven't eaten like this since I was a kid.
But you were like, even though you were like so active on social media and everything, like how active are you, and how active do you suggest people who are getting into the entertainment industry be on social media?
Oh, definitely. So, I mean, like I said, it really, for me, it's really a personal choice to be like, you know what, I got to get up. And just even for me, it's like waking up, eating right, exercising, all that helps me do better work.
Oh, hold on. We got to take a selfie.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Awesome.
So we're just doing social media.
Cool.
Go ahead.
All right. I love it. And so, I mean, honestly, social media for me, I mean, so here, this was actually my experience with social media. So I can remember when Facebook was starting, and that's we're on this thing called Facebook, and everyone was like posting pictures.
Remember MySpace?
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
I do remember MySpace. Yes. Oh gosh, I think it might still be out there. I'm not sure. But that was like
every now and then I get a message going like, "Hey, come back to us." So like, poor MySpace.
Tom, right? Tom was MySpace, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Tom was everybody's first number one friend.
Poor Tom. He's all alone now.
But yeah, so I mean, I remember when it was just you were messaging your friends or people were like posting their party pictures, and then I remember actually Instagram. I think it's probably been about 8 years since but I remember we were out at a restaurant with a group of friends, and one of our friends was, "Oh, do you have Instagram?" I'm like, "What's Instagram?" I'm like, "Here, watch this." And I think we're at this restaurant. There was like this nacho platter, and so she took a picture of this big tray of nachos we had, and she posted that and tagged everyone like, "Oh, I'm having this nacho platter with 10 of my," and she tagged all of us. And for me, that was social media. And then a week later, I went to this double feature for Princess Bride and Stand By Me. So I took a picture of that, and I was like, oh, we're at the New Art for Rob Reiner double feature. And so that's what I remember social media, like Instagram being. And then it was probably in like the like around 2015 when actually Al and I have a mutual friend, Courtney Palm, who is at the time really doing some great movies. Oh yeah, Courtney's awesome. And at that time, that was right when hey Courtney, we love you. No, she's gone on and done some great movies, but at the time she was, that's really when she was starting. And she actually taught me a lot about social media, about promoting her films and just networking. And so I really thank Courtney for a lot of that. And I mean, she's always nonstop. She's always on set. She's always doing something creative. And so, yeah, that's when I saw the relevance of social media, was through Courtney, and I met Al. And we thank you, Courtney. We love you.
Aw.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have her on.
Oh,
Courtney.
absolutely. Rosalinda says, hey to you.
Hi. Hi, Rosalinda.
And then Ricky says hi.
Ricky.
Hi, Ricky.
And Ricky says, like the phoenix from the ashes, MySpace will rise again. ...
What do you know that we don't know, Ricky?
I know. What about TikTok? Are you on TikTok, or what are you on, like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter?
I'm on Instagram. You know, I haven't really gotten into the TikTok thing yet. I don't know if it's everyone's talking about it. I haven't
You haven't made the
maybe
dive.
I'm too old. I don't know. I think, help me out here. I need to get on TikTok.
I think mainly, TikTok I see is just a bunch of young girls dancing around.
And then they tag you, and you have to do the same dance.
Is that what it is?
I think you have to mimic the same
I
dance.
I don't think I can dance.
It kind of reminds me of Vine. Vine.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It has a similar, yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't grab me yet. It's just like, I don't have to be on besides already with Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. That's enough, I think.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm covered, too. I mean, because I have Twitter, Instagram. I do have Facebook, and what else? Yeah, and now YouTube. So, and even it's just so much, because when I post something, you have to do all the tags, and then because a lot of times we're promoting something, so it's like, okay, I did Instagram, like, okay, now I got to do my Facebook. It's like you have to do all these different technologies, but yeah, I don't know if I could get away with doing TikTok and just kind of doing this all day.
Yeah, that's not necessary. Maybe if when it evolves, maybe we'll jump on board.
Yeah.
But right now, it's not necessary to see a bunch of people jiggling around. No.
Ricky says, good morning back to you, and he likes Tic Tacs. Ha ha.
Oh, Ricky, you cut up you.
That's
Ricky.
Funny. But you bring up a good point too there, and that we sometimes think the more social media you have, the more time consuming it is.
It is.
And what's the value that you get out of, what is the innate value that you get out of doing your social media versus putting your time into something else that is pertinent to your career? I mean, what do you do? Well, tell us a little bit about your show, first off, for people, and for people who are just joining us, we're talking to Kash Hovey. He is an actor, and he is a producer right here in Los Angeles. So you guys, just like Ricky and Rosalinda and everybody in there, engage him in the chat, ask him questions right now. So anyways, tell us about your show.
So I started, this sign, when the pandemic started, I created this studio, and I was doing some voiceover, and I was doing, we actually started doing this on Instagram Live with just friends and colleagues. We were looking for ways to connect because we were all stuck at home. And so it was a nice way for us to get on and share our stories and talk about what we'd been through. And then my dad actually gave me this sign for my birthday.
Aww.
So, thank you, Dad. Love you, Dad. And he's in Florida, so he's probably about it's probably 10:45 where he is. So anyway, so that was the inspiration for saying, well, that's catchy. We'll do On Air with Kash. And then really, when we started doing the Instagram Lives, that's, and I've been watching a lot of podcasts. There's just a lot of comedians that I admire who were doing their own podcasts. So, and with me, it wasn't just, I didn't want to do just audio. I'm a very visual person, and I like to, so what I do a lot of the times too is I'll put footage from either my movies or some of my guests' work, or what's actually really cool is I found this box of tapes that my dad had. There were like all of our home movies. So there's like pictures there's videos of us like doing karate and just only movies that we did. Yes, exactly. So now when I've been interviewing a lot of colleagues in martial arts, so it's cool to, like, when we talk about growing up, I'll be like, oh, that, or it's funny because I've had guests on who have worked with Pat Johnson. He was the referee in the Karate Kid movies. He trained the Ninja Turtles. And
oh, wow.
Yes, and he was actually, so.
Oh, Pat Johnson. He was the guy with the mustache, right?
Yes. He was the referee. Nice. Yeah, that was him. Yeah.
He was in you know what he was in? He was in Bruce Lee's movie Enter the Dragon.
Yep.
That's a nice shot, Mr. Roper. He's awesome. I love him.
Awesome. And definitely. And Bob Wall, who played O'Hara, he's a family friend. He actually him and Chuck Norris owned the studio that I trained at. So
you know Bob Wall?
I know Bob Wall. Oh yeah.
He's badass. I love Bob Wall.
Badass. He is amazing. Oh my gosh, Bob Wall, great guy. He he was the president of the studio with Chuck Norris, and so they got Pat Johnson to come and train us one day. And so my first time breaking the board was with Pat Johnson.
Yeah, he was also in Chuck Norris's movie. What was the name of his first Chuck Norris's first movie?
Octagon?
No, not Octagon. Octagon's like 2 or 3 movies afterwards.
Oh, is it?
The Good Guys Wear Black.
Good Guys Were Black. Okay.
Yeah, Pat Johnson was in that. See, you didn't think I knew that much about Pat Johnson, did you?
Or Chuck
Al knows
Norris.
everything. Al has an encyclopedic knowledge of movies.
That you do.
They used to call me IMDb at Wire Image a long time ago.
Oh.
They go, who's that? They go, I don't know. Ask IMDb over there. And I'm like, what do you want to know? Because first and foremost, I'm a fan. I love movies. I love movie stars. But my thing is actually genre stuff. Is I love the sci-fi, the horror, and all the good stuff.
Well, Ricky just says, is it missing in action?
No, Missing in Action is way later. It was Chuck Norris's very first movie. It was called The Good Guys Wear Black.
Oh, okay.
And his friend Pat Johnson was in it. He played he always plays goons and stuff, but it's that mustache that he had. But I think his biggest role was as the referee in Karate Kid. Ice!
Oh, yeah.
He would always be like, Ice! He was cool. Very cool guy.
So,
No, and he trained the Ninja Turtles, Mortal Kombat. He did.
Mortal Kombat?
I don't know about the new one, but I know the one that came out in the 90s.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because he had autograph when he came. There were autograph pictures of like the Ninja Turtles and Mortal Kombat and.
When are you gonna have him on your show?
Oh yeah.
Are you gonna have him on your show?
I need to reach out to him definitely.
You should. Check it.
Yeah, I should have Bob Wall and Pat Johnson on. We'll have a karate special.
so how often do you do your show, and like what type of guests do you have on your show?
Absolutely. So, gosh, we've been doing a couple a week now. We started off once a week, and then we would release one, but lately we've been doing a couple a week. So basically, I do similar to what you and Al are doing. We have a Zoom link, we record it, and then later I'll do some editing and I'll put footage over it to kind of. It's cool because we'll tell a story, and then if I have this picture with Pat Johnson, I'll throw that over the clip, or then if a friend of mine's telling me about their movie, I'll throw a clip over it, and
God, I wish we could do that.
I know.
We're live. We have to, we're all warts and all. We just we go right. We go with no editing, no nothing. At least you can like I want fluffier cheeks, or I want slim me down a bit.
Zoom in this, do that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so that was really at the beginning of the year. That was people like, you should make a show. So I've been doing it, putting all my episodes on YouTube. I like to edit it and make them really fun, like and then really like engage the audience. I've had very different kinds of guests. I've had martial artists, I've had actors, producers, and it's really more entertainment driven. Just obviously, because me being an actor and producer, but I just really love engaging people, and everyone who I've had or been on, I feel like there's been a connection with, or there's been chemistry with. So I really like it when we go in there. I mean, a lot of, like I go in there, like, I really respect this person. I'm having them on the show, and they'll tell me about their career. And then a lot of times I just feel like there's, whether we knew someone or worked with someone along the line, or it's interesting, we start opening up a bit and we see how our stories paralleled. And that's what I really like to share. I like telling people stories and being a narrator to a degree.
How cool.
So that's your producer function, but it's also kind of like a friend function. That's kind of like what I like to do. I like to reach out to friends that I have. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to start working with Candace on the show, is like I want to bring my friends in and help them promote their careers and their projects and stuff. I call myself not a producer. I'm more like a cheerleader. I love to get people together, bring people together, and help them out wherever I can. I'm kind of like, I'm a Mr. Fix-It, kind of like you are in some ways. So I guess I'm like kind of like a producer. I like going in and like,
tweaking.
Hey, tweaking. I'm almost like a publicist / not just a photographer, but like a one-man team. So I can tell you to do, hey, we should do this, we should do that. It's all about helping your career and helping you get to the next levels. And I never charge. I never ask for money.
But this is what's so neat about Al, is that he's been, out of all the people that I ever met, he's been the person that started out by saying, you need to wear a color on the carpet.
Yeah,
and I didn't know anything, and he would always help me. Come along and I'll show you around this gift suite. And I was like, what's a gift suite? And he's like, well, come with me. And I'm like, why are we going? I'm like, you don't have to do this. Come onto the carpet. Well, I don't want to go on the carpet. No, you need to go. No, I don't want to go. You know, and it just started out that way that he helped me so much because I literally didn't know anything.
I like to push people a little bit.
And
sometimes.
he pushed me because I still, honestly, I don't like to do the carpet. I don't like to go. I don't like to go.
You have to do it.
I know, but you kind of forced me. And even yesterday, you were there. Kash, you were there at the thingy yesterday. What'd y'all do?
Well, celebrity sightings. I don't usually do them. I've had a lot of celebrity friends go, "Do you do celebrity sightings?" I'm like,
I didn't even know what it was.
No, it's something that you basically it's like a paparazzi style kind of thing where you just do candids of people just like in the streets or they're having lunch or doing stuff like that. And especially because of the pandemic right now, some people aren't working as much as they used to, and it's good to show people. Just people in Hollywood that I'm still alive. I'm still in the business. I still look good because some people have worked out and they look great. My friend who just left for she's going to Atlanta to start filming
you said she's
Black Panther. Yeah, she's like, I have not been able to show my post-COVID body, Janisa, and she's starting.
She looks amazing.
Yeah, she looks cut because she's doing Black Panther 2.
And what did you and Kash do yesterday?
Well, we did that.
No. Did you guys like do window shopping or
no?
eating at a restaurant?
It was very simple. I said just roll up. I went to Amoeba. I had everyone meet me at Amoeba. I bought some stuff, personal stuff. I gave it to them. I said just walk down the street. Looks like you went shopping at Amoeba.
Oh,
and I'll take a couple photos and you're out of there.
How fun!
It was quick and easy, painless usually. The only problem was that the street in the front was closed off. But usually there's tons of parking. He would just, I thought in my head it would be perfect. They just roll up, not even put money in the meter. They give them the bag, quick, boom, 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 shoot them. They get back in the car and off they go. But it didn't work out that way.
Oh, but that's so much fun that you guys went out and did that.
It's still, and I saw Kash and Gigi and Adrian around the corner. I was like, I should have told been more specific because they're like, hey, we've been here for a while. Because I'm like, everyone's late today. What's going on?
Oh, you called me on the phone.
I did call you on the phone. Everyone's late because you were out with Doug helping him with his audition.
I know. Doug
but then they came around the corner and like, I was like, all right. And then I just knocked them off one at a time. Boop, boop, boop.
Oh, Ricky said Al's a good guy.
I've heard that a couple times.
I know, because you always give these tips and pointers, especially for people that are new in the industry and we don't have an idea as to what's going on. I have no clue.
I try to help out where I can. You know, when I first started in the business, I was greeted with like, who's this new guy? And they were just giving me the evil eye, the stink eye. You know, being the new kid on the block when you were probably auditioning.
Al, I totally know what you're saying. And I got to agree, Al, you are the man. I mean, really,
Thank you.
When I said earlier that, you know, when social media was taking off and I was hanging out with Courtney Palm, she was taking me to her premieres and she really showed me about, you know, really what am I saying? About promoting your movie, going to premieres, and then that's how I met Al. And then Al has been so good to me and so many artists. I mean, I mean, just like you said yesterday, we just had a very fun shoot. You're always thinking of myself. You think of Gigi. You think of just our crew. That's like our crew. And then Al is you're just always considering everyone else. He's such a great guy. And I mean, come on, we're doing our shows together. We got on with Kash and I'm on with Al and Candace. We're having a good time and we're
trying to help everyone out and also entertain people, right?
Yeah, but he even brings, this is the guy that'll go early, like we have to be here at 5:50 in the morning. He'll go before then, Kash, to go get donuts for everybody, to go stand in line at a 24-hour donut place, to go get bagels for everybody. This morning he got me orange juice and he's trying to make me flab over 40.
Fatten her up.
And McDonald's and all this kind of stuff. But I mean, that's who he is. And he'll just constantly do that without saying.
I'm like the dad.
Surprises everybody.
I'm the dad.
Kind of.
Al takes care of everybody and you look out for everyone. You rock out.
I love people. I just love to. And anytime somebody is, you know, in a bad place, I'm like, oh, well, what can I do to help? And you know, I'm just that guy that will roll up their sleeves and
he does.
I'm a fixer. I try to, you know, when people have problems, it hurts me. So I'm like, oh, I gotta, you know, I'm like a dad. I feel sorry for people.
But also he helps other people that I've known forever. I mean, other people that we know in the business, you know, constantly always helping them and giving them tips and you should do this and that, even simple things, but it makes a difference.
Inviting people to events. The other day I did, there was somebody called me for an event and said like, hey, we're having this event. I'm like, it's in 24 hours. Who are you going to get to come? And they're like, well, we don't know. We'll try to bring our roster of people. And I said, let me make a few emails and calls and stuff. And it turns out that the roster was like 90% people that I
invited.
I invited and stuff. And it was nice. It was a testament to see how many people would really show up for me, and I was like, that's nice.
Well, you did that for us for this Valentine's Day thing,
yeah.
And basically they were all your people, yeah. everybody.
I try to help out where I can. Sometimes if I'm at an event and I'm like, hey, there's nobody here, you want to come over? And most people are like, I'm busy or whatever, but some people are like, yeah, I'm not doing anything, I'll come over. And it's a win-win in my, I get some nice photos. And I get to pad the list a bit, and they're like, wow. And then people that are putting on the list going, wow, I didn't expect this to be such a big turnaround. And I'll be like, yeah, well.
So there are nice people in the business.
Some people.
There are
but
some
be wary.
Goodness, genuine, nice people in the business.
Yeah.
So we were talking about your career, and we were interested in, I see you as kind of like the comedian funny guy, like this guy. But do you also are you known for drama, primarily comedy, stand-up? What do you feel like you fit in? How do casting people see you? Like, what niche do they see you in?
Oh my goodness. Well, I think I've gone through a few varieties. I mean, I always thought, I went in there wanting to be a dramatic actor, and I started doing those. Like, there was a movie that I did years ago called Jack and Cocaine, where I play a street hustler who's struggling with addiction. And I mean, that was a role where I was probably about 20 pounds lighter, and I really got into that role. It was just a week of just this. I was on a strict diet. I just really was like living on coffee for a week just to kind of really get into this. But it really did test me as an actor, and I think that was just one of those roles that just really was like, wow. I mean, I was really happy with what we were, because really it started off as just this project that we were making for Vimeo, and then because of social media, this was maybe about 2015, and then it got released in 2017. But because of social media, it eventually had a premiere at the Valley Film Festival. So I mean, I went in there initially wanting to do it, and then I started getting cast in a lot of these comedies. And like personally, like I don't always think I'm that funny. I mean, occasionally I'll get a joke out, and then like, oh no, Kash, you're funny. Like, I don't think I'm funny. But then I ended up doing my first stand-up workshop during the quarantine. But we started it right before the pandemic, and then about halfway through, we were on lockdown, so we did the rest on Zoom, and then I did have the first show via Zoom, which was interesting. It's still, I do feel like I want to have a live show, but I do enjoy comedy, and there's just roles when, I mean, it was funny, like there was a movie that I did that was actually on Amazon a while ago called As in Kevin. It was a Tinder dating comedy, and I play Van. He's like the guy at work who's always like, all right, I got this date, and he's like they call him the swipe master. So I busted in there like full Jim Carrey, like, what's up, ladies, want to go on a date tonight? And so I had that, it called for this like zany quality, and I actually did win an award for that at Film Fest LA Live, and we got accepted to a few things. And so it was cool to really stretch the comedic muscle. And then I actually did another movie called Undateable John that's on Amazon right now, where I with Shannon Doherty. I have a different look. I have bleached blonde hair, a gold chain, and it's this confrontational scene. But like, I wasn't even trying to be funny in that, because it was I mean, it was a comedy, but it was like an edgier role. But then I just inadvertently had a few funny lines here or there. So it was, but yeah, I mean, I like all genres. I like drama, I like comedy. It's just fun, whatever the role calls for.
Well, and speaking about Undateable John, you guys, you can't see, but I'm going to show the audience right now. You guys, this is Undateable John. It's available right here on Amazon Prime Video. You can see it here with free with ads, actually. So tell us about this movie. It's got really high ratings. Tell us, what is this movie about again?
Okay, so Undateable John is actually John Philbin from Point Break. He plays a man who's he's struggling with addiction. He's trying to get his life together, and it really centers around Estella Warren's character Jane. So they meet in AA, and they go on just basically it's their journey about overcoming their past and obstacles. Great cast. It was actually, I was working with Joan Jett's team at the time, and she actually produced it, wrote a song for it, and had a starring role. Joan gave a great performance. Wow. And then like Tom Arnold was in it. We have Margaret Cho's in it, Daryl Hannah. And then actually what happened was I was cast as Adam, he's basically the antagonist. We have a pivotal moment at the climax of the movie. And I didn't even know Shannon was going to be in this. It was during the reading we had with the cast, there was a different actress, and then I think it was shooting, they rescheduled some dates, and then that actress wasn't available anymore. So I'm driving to set, and I get the message, oh, by the way, Shannon Doherty's playing that character. I'm like, what? And so it was like, I mean, I grew up watching
Brenda.
90210 reruns.
Yeah,
and Chicago
90210.
Reruns, so it was really, and Shannon was so sweet, so fun to work with, and it was a really fun experience. And that was because we shot that, I think, about 7 or 8 years ago, and it came out recently. So it was really cool to have that come full circle.
How neat. So you're right. We're looking at it right now, and it does star Estella Warren, John Philbin, and Tom Arnold. Now, in the genre, this is interesting. It says comedy, drama, and documentary. So explain, how is it all three?
Documentary.
Actually, the writer, I believe, was going through. Really, I think I know that the writer at that time, it's a little bit based off of her story. She was going to meetings. She was at a crossroads in her life and wanted to tell this story. And I think she met a lot of or some actors who related or wanted to see this story get told. So there really is that's where it would be a documentary per se, and then it's a drama and a comedy. I mean, there were some really powerful scenes with. Actually, when I showed up, they were just wrapping a scene with Meredith Baxter from Family Ties.
Oh, sure.
And, oh gosh, and I watched Family Ties reruns growing up, big Michael J. Fox fan. So just even meeting her, like, she was one of the first people I met on set, and I was starstruck. She was so sweet. And when the movie came out, I saw the scene that her and John did, and it was so powerful, so dramatic. So there are a lot of intense scenes, but then it's also they want to make it like a surfer comedy movie. So I guess it's the kind of movie where there's a real element, and because there's real, because it's real, it's funny.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have some other projects that you've done too, and we thought we'd show another one too, and maybe we'll show them, and then you can explain it to us. So here's another one that Kash Hovey is in. It's called Hollywood.con, and you can get this, rent it on Prime Video in high definition. You can also purchase it right here on Amazon Prime. So tell us about this project, and what did you do on it?
Actually, it kind of relates to our discussion today about acting and being a producer. So the director, writer, and star, Mika, known for years, grew up with her. She had a great career writing in Cars with Boys, The Patriot.
Oh, wow.
She did so many. Oh, yeah, when we were kids, she was cast in all these movies. And so actually, on that day, so actually, let me tell you about the story. So basically, her character plays this actress. She's not having a lot of good luck, and then she inadvertently takes on the role of takes on the identity of a producer, and then she gets tangled up in this adventure, and then ends up producing a movie. But it's so funny. I mean, they went to Guatemala. She gets involved in all these ops. It was actually really funny. Another movie that Tom Arnold was in that we got to do together. So it was really cool, and I think I was actually filming Jack and Cocaine at the time, and she was texting me, and she was like, Kash, will you make a cameo? I was like, of course, that was another thing of just, we knew each other, we were friends, and she just hit me up. I was in the area. I'm like, oh yeah. So I just really went over there on my lunch break and did the cameo for her, and this is something that she wrote, directed, and starred, and this has been a passion project of hers, so I'm really proud of Mika.
Oh, that is amazing.
Wasn't Mika in The Patriot with Mel Gibson?
Yep. She played one of Mel Gibson's daughter in it. Yeah.
One of the daughters. Oh, wow. I'm glad. Sometimes it's nice to hear people, when you know them from a certain role, and then they go on to do something else.
Wait, you grew up with her?
Yeah, we grew up in LA, and I've known Mika for years. I mean, she was doing writing in Cars with Boys. She played young Drew Barrymore. And Blue Crush she was in. Yeah, she was in so many. It was actually funny because I'm actually going to meet her later today. We're having a meeting, but there was a period during the pandemic I kept turning on the TV, and all these movies that she was in were playing, like The Patriot, Riding in Cars with Boys. And so when she reached out, I'm like, Mika, you don't understand. Like, literally, you've been on TV every day. I forgot how many movies you did when we were kids.
Right.
That is crazy.
I worked for Dean Devlin at a point, and I remember covering the premiere for The Patriot when we had when he was with Centropolis. Yeah. Right. That's how I know Mika. It was when she was little. Yeah.
How funny. Well, let's look one more time. This is Hollywood.com. You guys can get this on Amazon Prime Video right now. You can rent it in high definition, and you can also purchase it right here. And this is one of the great movies that Kash Hovey is in. And we're talking right now to actor and producer Kash Hovey. So you guys... He's live. He's here right now. It is 8:09 in the morning on Wednesday. So you guys have got to get in there. I want you to engage him. Ask him a question in the chat. Because
well, almost anything.
Almost anything. Because even though he gets up early, he is here to join us in the morning on Wednesday. So you guys, let's express gratitude. Ask him a question. They want to know. Caitlin wants to know. Can you do the impersonation of the comedian Jackie Mason?
Jackie Mason? Yeah, no. I have to work on Jackie Mason. I used to be able to do Jackie Mason all the time.
Caitlin says hi.
Hi, Caitlin.
Hello, Caitlin.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Can you do an impression of Jackie Mason?
I don't know about Jackie Mason. I don't know. People have asked me Jim Carrey a few times. I can kind of do it with the hair, like, oh, righty then. I don't know.
That totally looks like him. Oh. I totally think that looks like him. Now, you do primarily comedy, but you've also done stand-up. Tell us, what do you feel? Because I think it's very, very, very different. What is the difference between very different being a comedic actor and doing stand-up? I think they're two different things.
Oh, absolutely. And, I have so much respect for comedians. I have a lot of friends who are comedians that I would go and see their shows. And I really got more into it the last few years as I was working with a lot of comedic actors. So I'd go to their show, and I mean, just to go up there and really share what's happening with your life. And it was so, hold on one sec. There we go. Sorry. As far as being a comedian, just them getting up there, telling a story. I think the thing is, like, I prefer doing a movie because there's lines and there's dialogue. But when you're doing stand-up, you get up there and you're sharing you, and you're looking for
raw.
It's just you.
I mean, for me, it was just looking at mistakes. I mean, one of the jokes was, I guess I could say it out, but it was, and this is a real story. I was talking to a friend of mine who's an optometrist, and it was during the pandemic, and she was talking about just when someone's mask slips, she feels like she got flashed. So that was my joke. I said, I'm talking to my friend who's an optometrist, and she'll deal with the client, and then the mask falls, and she feels like she got flashed. Is that really the kind of world we're going to go back to, where every time you see someone's nose, it's going to be like them flashing you? So it was like, and that one actually got some laughs, but it's looking for those humorous situations and everyday things.
That's funny. So you have your hard 5, like you have your solid 5 minutes.
I had my solid 5 minutes. I did hear some crickets in between, but for the most part, it was like that one resonated well, and it was last summer, so everyone was going through that, and then, but no, I mean, it's funny because I'm good at like writing a joke, or I'm more like, writing a story and looking for the humor in that, but to really get up there and share your own flaws and just be vulnerable and just be ready to be like, hey, this is this, or I went through this experience the other day. I really respect anybody who can get up there. I mean, I've had friends of mine, I've actually gone to tape specials for friends of mine, and they're just up there for an hour and they don't miss a beat.
Wow.
And it's just anyone who can get up there and do it. That's one of the most terrifying things. So I respect anyone who gets up there and does comedy.
Who's your favorite comedian right now?
Right now, oh gosh.
No pressure.
I was about to say, you just did a great Jim Carrey.
No, honestly, like Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, Eddie Murphy. I grew up watching all their movies growing up. Oh my gosh, I love Chappelle. Grew up watching the Chappelle show. I love the stand-ups that he's been doing. We got to work with Margaret Cho on Undateable John. I've seen her a few times live at the Comedy Store. Love Margaret. Oh my goodness, there's. I honestly would have to say Eddie Murphy. Just growing up, I mean, I just always remember Beverly Hills Cop being on TV, and then when I saw some of his
laugh.
Oh yeah. Him and Robin Williams stand-ups were two stand-ups that when I got the DVDs or saw them on cable, on HBO when they aired them, I was really like, whoa, like that's. Like, I understand and Chris Rock as well. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. And now Caitlin says,
Caitlin.
Can you do Jack Nicholson?
The Jack it's all about the eyebrows. That's all. I can't do Jack. But
Oh no, it's okay. And then Ricky
why
said,
are you crazy, you? I like when in The Shining when he was funny but not purposely funny when he's like, I'm gonna bash your head in.
right.
You know
That was good.
All right.
Here's Johnny.
Yeah, here's Johnny.
Well, Ricky said, I miss Johnny Carson when he would have debut comedians, and if they were really good, he'd invite them over to sit down for a few minutes after their routine.
That's if he liked you.
That is true.
If he liked you, he'd invite you to the couch. Come and
that
come
was
sit
the
next
big
to
deal.
Ed.
That was
And then he would sit down next to. If he didn't like you, you weren't invited on the couch. Rickles killed on Johnny Carson. I
Don
love
Rickles.
Don Rickles. I mean, he was. What do they call him? Mr. Nice
Oh my
Guy or
gosh,
something?
Don Rickles. I remember the first. Oh, he made a guest appearance on a TV show, and I didn't know. I was a little kid, and my dad. I remembered my dad came in, and I was like, "Dad, this guy's funny." He's like, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that." And he told me who he was. And then we got some of his old stand-ups, and oh yeah. And actually, I remembered around that time, my grandfather was a member of this golf club, and I heard this story that I guess Don Rickles came in, he wanted to be a member, and then at one point he just jumped up on a table and did his act, and they didn't let him in. But I just said that would have been so badass. I would have just loved to have been just eating in the restaurant and like just have Don Rickles jump on a table and do his act live like that.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. So Michael says, Sway. Good morning, Michael. How are you?
Hey, Michael.
And you know, Ricky said nobody cracked Johnny up like Rickles or, Rodney Dangerfield.
Rodney and Buddy Hackett.
Oh, Buddy Hackett.
Buddy
yeah.
Hackett too. He was great.
The old time comedians.
Those guys, man, they're the gold standard. They're the best.
They were the best. And no, I mean, even Rodney Dangerfield, that was another movie. Back to School, we watched that endlessly, and Meet Wally Sparks. I mean, he was another. And as I got older, we would watch me and my dad would watch, they played his old specials from the Roxy on Sunset.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you look at so many comedians he had, like Jerry Seinfeld, Foxworthy, even Jim Carrey.
Sam Kinison.
Oh my gosh, there were just everyone that he had became a big star, and it was just you knew Rodney knew how to spot talent, and just when you hear all those comedians tell their stories about Rodney Dangerfield.
Did you know he used to live in the Beverly Hilton? He actually lived in the Beverly Hilton.
I didn't know he
really?
lived in the Beverly Hilton.
Yeah, because I used to cover a lot of the events. Besides the Golden Globes, were at the Beverly Hilton. It was like the main place where, and he would come down in his pajamas. Sometimes just the bathroom. He's like, "Hey boys, how you doing? Huh? Hey,
That's what he did in Back
what's
to
going on
School.
here? Huh?"
He did that in Back to School. He walks out in the bathrobe.
That's true,
Oh,
but that's
no.
him in real life. He would come down, his hair all disheveled and all like, "Hey, what's going on here tonight? Huh? Let's go see." And he'd go inside and go, "Let's see what the eats are like." He would go inside and go and eat. And he'd come out with like a drumstick or something. He's like, food's not so good tonight, fellas. I'm gonna go upstairs and go eat.
Oh,
He would just show up. I was like, it's hysterical.
that's so funny. Oh, there are so many comedies that you guys in the chat
I'll
know
tell you.
that are available right here on Amazon and Amazon Prime. You can get them on DVDs and box sets. What are some of the movies, Kash, that influenced your career, so we can, invite people that are in the chat right now to perhaps watch them on Amazon? Like, I was just thinking it like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, or there's some movies that you grew up with that really rang true for you, that helped you in your career.
Oh, absolutely. And actually, you just mentioned Ace Ventura. Oh gosh, I mean, prior to that, I think I was watching Robin Williams, but then like when Jim Carrey came, I mean, I remember just watching The Mask, Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, all those movies and Liar Liar. Those were just always movies that were playing when I was a kid. And and I think Ace Ventura's on Amazon Prime. Last I checked, Back to the Future that was the first. I have a picture of me watching it for the first time, and I'm so into it. And I like wore suspenders with a tight denim. I have a jacket similar.
Hey, Doc.
When I was a kid.
Doc.
Oh yeah, Doc. That was really, I mean, I was recreating the scenes, and I remember just even I remember being a little kid and going into a skate shop and seeing the boards without wheels, and I thought that it was a hoverboard. And I couldn't wait for a hoverboard. So definitely Back to the Future. Oh my God.
Marty.
Those were movies that I watched.
They're classic. They're timeless too. They're so good.
And they resonate so well. I mean, those are movies that I could just watch over and over again.
Me
And
too.
Amazon has so much great content. I mean, even just recently, there's there's just been movies that I grew up watching, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, this is on Amazon now, and I find so many great things. It's become my go-to.
Absolutely. And we hear Rodney, Ricky said Rodney would be sweating 1 minute into his act, LOL. The handkerchief was out of his pocket more than it was in. And then
I'll tell you, Dean Martin.
Caitlin said Fire Marshal Bill in Living Color. No one remembers that, LOL. I totally remember it.
Oh, Fire Marshal Bill.
Remember
Let me
that.
tell you something.
That's before he did Ace Ventura Pet Detective. He was on that show in Living Color.
He'd be all burned.
Color, yeah.
Yeah, you could totally. I'm sure you can find it right here on Amazon Prime
Probably.
Video to
Oh gosh,
watch.
my dad I used to stay up late and watch that with my dad. We'd watch the reruns because after all those movies came out, I was so into Jim Carrey, and so yeah, my dad and he would let me stay up late and watch the Living Color reruns with him.
Well, because you probably weren't born when In Living Color was actually going. It was in the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was a
remember
little
it.
kid, and then but after Ace Ventura, they were like rerunning it all over the time.
Of course,
So
that made him. Ace Ventura made him a star, and Mask only cemented it. And what did the Mask brought us Cameron Diaz. She was so hot. Hold me closer, Ed. It's getting dark. I used to love when he would do that. He did all these great voices, and he did not just voices, characters, everything. And that was my favorite scene, and I would rewind it and watch it over and over again. He would do all these. Hold me closer, Ed.
You really love me.
Exactly. Just that scene was so great. Go Scarlet, I give a damn.
And then Ricky says, "Oh, this is true. I think we were just talking about this. J-Lo was a fly girl on Living Color." And Caitlin says, "Jenny from the Block." We were just talking about that.
Jenny from the Block, yeah.
That's
She's long
so
gone from the block.
What do you think about this? Is what I love Back to the Future 1. Cash, what do you think of 2 and 3?
Yeah, they're good. Honestly, nothing compares to the original one. For me, it's always going to be the original. They're good sequels, and I remember being a kid and seeing the hoverboard scene, and that was just really like, oh my gosh, we want flying skateboards. I mean, anyone who grew up watching that movie was just like, oh, I can't wait for a flying skateboard. And but there is that sense of nostalgia. It's fun, but for me, just nothing compares to the original one. That's always going to be the best.
2 got really dark at one point. Really, remember 2 when he goes back to the
in Vegas.
To Biff. No, it was
because Biff won the
Biff
got rich. Biff got back. I mean that one got dark.
Really dark.
But even like when you look at it in retrospect, it's very it's interesting to see. How do I say? Because you watch it and you think, oh, okay, there's certain elements that they got right, or it looks like an 80s version of the future. But the whole idea of like going back, changing the space-time continuum, but I like that mess because it is like a what's Jimmy Stewart? The It's a Wonderful.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's like you go back, you change the past, and then you're.
Tremors store.
Yeah. So I do like that it touched on that. And then you go back into the original movie, and I think that really influenced so many, animations or just films that made us all into sci-fi. So it was an interesting concept, and I really, just Zemeckis and Bob Gale, it was just really just brilliant work. But for me, there's just nothing that beats the magic of the original movie.
It's probably the first time travel, one of the most perfect time travel movies. Ricky said, I liked all 3 of the Back to the Futures.
I don't like the 3rd one that much.
But the first one was the best. And Caitlin says, why is it called Back to the Future when it was the past?
Because he went to the past and he's stuck in the past and he has to go back to the future.
Thank you. Exactly. Because you're in the past and you're trying to get back to the future.
Because he gets stuck because the machine in the car breaks or something.
Yes.
Get it. But then what about Tremors? Because you know what? I think Tremors, the first one is great, and then the other ones are kind of okay, but nothing beats the first Tremors movie with Kevin Bacon.
But,
yes. I liked it. I saw 1 and 2, but yeah, the first one with Kevin Bacon was the best one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But sometimes the sequels are better, like in Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back is
better.
way better than Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars is great, but Empire Strikes Back is flawless.
You know why? 'Cause it ends on
Probably
a cliffhanger.
the best one, yeah.
It ends on a cliffhanger, and you're dying to see the 3rd one. And back then, you had to wait like 2 years to see.
It was 3 years.
3 years. Yeah.
And then
wait.
they came back with teddy bears.
The little guys in the forest.
Yeah.
Ricky said, I liked where the number 3 played ZZ Top, played in the band in the Old West. I didn't know that.
That's just the scene, though. That's not the
cool.
movie.
That's
ZZ
totally
Top,
cool.
yeah.
I had no idea.
They didn't even have to bring a costume. They just looked like that. They just showed up.
So
Dust them up.
For those of you guys who are out there, we have actor Kash Hovey. He's also a producer. He's a comedian. Now, do you also, because you just mentioned martial arts, do you do martial arts? Were you trained in martial arts and that's your background?
I started taking karate when I was about 7. I trained for about 4 years. And what happened? And then after that, pants. The what?
I said you split your pants.
We had a group of friends that we did karate with, like Ashley Bell, who's in The Last Exorcism. We made movies together. We did a Mortal Kombat movie. I can't find it, but we were always dressing up and doing costume parties, and then and making movies. And then we did what else? And then I would take different classes. I did some kickboxing. Actually, right before the pandemic, I got on. When I did the stand-up class, I started training at Wire Fighters, which some of our other colleagues.
Oh, wow.
Have done as well. And then, so yeah, Wire Fighters was a trip. You know, they put the harnesses on you.
Yeah.
You do the matrix moves and the flips. And
wow.
I mean, I was like, at the beginning of it, I couldn't do a cartwheel to save my life. And then I get up there and they're like, Kash, do a backflip. I'm like, what? And then I did, because I did the front flip and my leg kept getting tangled. And then I jumped into the backflip and I was like, oh, this is actually comfortable. And I don't, but yeah, once you get that first flip in, you're good to go. I can't wait to get back.
So do you believe that, and I also agree with this, all the other extracurricular talents that you can learn always help for the actor to be well-rounded, whether you're doing martial arts or fencing or, you know, like to be a jack of all trades?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even I just had an actress, Paris Bravo, on about 2 weeks ago.
I love Paris Bravo.
Paris is awesome. Yeah, she was on, and she's been studying martial arts since she was 4. She's been competing. I mean, you just look at her reel, and I mean, she's the real deal. But she did this movie with Nicolas Cage where I think she was 14 when she did this. She talks about it on the show, and literally they dropped her in this like 16-foot tank. And it was just this whole thing, like she was way down. She had to pretend to be dead and then wait for the bubbles to go away and then rise up.
Wow.
And she talks about this on the show, but I mean, she's a strong swimmer. She's a martial artist. I got invited, her and her dad, we went out to the gun range last week and we trained for a movie. So, I mean, that's just a perfect example of someone that I know and recently had on the show who's been doing it at a young age, and her work and her roles, her extracurricular work has contributed to her doing her own stunts in Nicolas Cage movies. And, you know, she just did a movie with Alicia Silverstone, so she's been on a roll.
She actually told me that she's not really looking to be an actress per se. She is an actress, but she's more interested in learning to be a stunt woman. She really wants to do stunts.
Yeah,
and she can do it all.
Yeah, absolutely. Then Ricky said, Caitlin said Marty was almost in a relationship with his past mom, which is funny in Back to the Future. And Ricky said, yeah, his mom had a crush on Calvin Klein.
Calvin Klein.
And then she thought that was his name because it was the name on the underpants. And then Caitlin says, imagine the guy who had to explain this concept to the movie producers.
All right, JT, we're gonna have this scene. See, we're gonna have them come, and he's gonna be his mother. See.
Oh my goodness! Well, we have another one that we want to show you guys that Kash Hovey is in. So, Kash, I'm going to explain it, and then you tell us about this. This is available on Amazon Prime. This is Unusual Suspects. And I was looking for Usual Suspect. I got confused. So
me too.
Tell us. I know it's not the Usual Suspects. It's Unusual Suspects. So tell us, what is this show about?
Oh gosh, we were actually just talking about this with Juliette Vega yesterday when I had her on the show. It's a crime reenactment scene. I did this around the time I was doing Undateable John. I have blonde hair in it. I play Richard the Cutter Jeffries. So this is an ID discovery show, and basically it's so we had to recreate a crime. It was a real story, and I can't remember if my character was actually the one who committed the crime, but anyway, so we did. Oh my gosh, it was great. So we shot it in Encino. It was this pizza parlor in Encino. It was the character I'm playing, Richard, him and his colleague. They're cleaning up something, and then someone comes in and we commit a crime on this person. So we had to recreate that. And then the next day we went to Griffith Park, and we had to, we shot the scene where our characters are throwing the body off the cliff. So it was like, I think it was like a blow doll they put in a duffel bag. And it was me and Sean Hurd. so yeah, we just had to throw the body, and then the next day we were across the street from the pizza parlor at their offices in Encino. It was like the interrogation room. So that was a fun thing. We had a group picture. We're like, yeah, these are our partners in crime reenactment.
Oh my gosh, that's
sounds like fun.
Hilarious. And you've gone across the board from comedies to dramas with Undateable John and stand-up. So what would you recommend for actors to be well-rounded? What type of courses for people that are out there right now? What would you recommend classes they take when they come out to Hollywood?
Oh, absolutely. Just do whatever inspires you. And really, I mean, my thing is, I definitely went through highs and lows and ups and downs. There was a period when I was younger, I felt like I was in a slump. And at the time, honestly, I feel like if I was growing up now, there's so much available. And with the internet, with YouTube, you can really do your own research and find the best fit. Personally, I mean, I trained at Ivana Chubbuck's studio. I was able to get in, really, it's a lot of these extracurriculars recently that I've done, like Wire Fighters, and that was really because a lot of colleagues of ours were talking about it. And then, there was a period I was over at Endeavor, and I trained with kickboxing. So really just anything that interests you, just try it, go out for it. I mean, just even like we were talking about with Paris, I mean, she wanted to just do karate she didn't just want to, but she talked about being, going in thinking, I want to be a stunt person. But then she just booked this movie with Alicia Silverstone and did great as a comedic actress in this. So you just never know where anything's going to take you. I mean, I didn't think that I was funny. And then I kept getting these comedic roles. And I'm like, let's take a stand-up class and see what happens. So just really, life's out there. There's so many experiences. Just try everything and know what works for you.
So you have your show, you just mentioned YouTube. You have your show and you put everything on your YouTube channel. Do you also create other types of content that you're putting on your YouTube channel? Like what would people anticipate when they go over there and take a look and follow?
Absolutely, thank you. So On Air with Kash, that's the YouTube channel where I produce the show. We've had great guests on. We've had Gabrielle Stone, we've had Sean Kanan, Jesse Cobb, we've had Samantha Bailey, Jax Malcolm, oh my gosh, Swen Temmel, who was just on After on Netflix. And so we've had a lot of great talent. And now, thankfully, we have Al and Candace. We're doing this cross-promotion show. I love it.
The best. Only the best.
You're the best. And so, what was I saying?
Oh, what else? I mean, what type of content do you...
So, and then there's also another Kash Hovey channel. You can see some of my reels and other work. There's been... on YouTube, there's clips from Undateable John, another project I did called Before I Got Famous, where I play actually, when Al was talking about just ruthless characters, this is a ruthless character. It stars Anthony Ma. He moves to LA and he's just dealing with it's really like, I think some of his personal experiences and then just him just kind of navigating LA and trying to make it as an actor. And I play the most disgusting, ruthless producer you could imagine. Who gives him a hard time in this scene, but he gets justice. My character has a demise, which is definitely deserved. But it was honestly Anthony was so fun, and there were just times I felt like, oh my gosh, is this okay? Because I'm just so ruthless. But he's like, Kash, go for it. It was a great team to work with. I feel like Anthony was really proud of it. So that's actually on Reverie, but you can see clips of that on my personal YouTube page. And as far as original content goes, I've had a long collaboration with Kathy Cola, who did Wire Fighters with me. We just wrapped, we actually shot Mayhem of the Mind prior to the pandemic, and we screened it at Film Fest LA Live, won about 5 awards. And I was just talking to Kathy a week ago. She has some new episodes ready to roll. So we're, I'm just, I've just really been grateful for everyone we've had.
Well, it's so funny because you just said you play this ruthless producer, and just in the time that we've been sitting here talking to you, I see you as the anti-ruthless person. You seem so nice. So I was like,
That's acting.
It's called acting. How do you? What do you do for these roles? Do you research these roles? How do you prepare for a role that is so polar opposite to who you are as a real person?
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I know it's a lot of that. Sometimes it goes on experience. I've been, like what Al says, just even in LA or growing up in Hollywood, you meet certain people. So you can draw it from my own personal experiences. I mean, I remember, being an assistant when I was younger and just, working for certain people. And you have your own stories, and then but that character specifically, I was watching Silicon Valley. I mean, part of it was like Gavin from Silicon Valley, because it was that same. The breakdown was he's an alpha male. He thinks he's God's gift to comedy. Yeah, he's just ruthless, and a lot of it too. I actually molded it off of Tom Cruise's character Les Grossman in Tropic Thunder.
Oh, I love that.
Punch that guy! Punch that guy!
Yes.
It's true. He's like I'm sure there were a lot of producers going like, is he doing me? Is he doing me? Is he doing me? He's doing me. Get me my Diet Coke. It's like the embodiment.
I heard the guy that character was based off of is currently on Time magazine.
No.
No, because that's probably based on somebody.
It's definitely, but I think it's just a melding of all the agents in Hollywood, just like really swarthy, kind of like, it's like just like.
There's a recent Time magazine cover, and the person Tom Cruise is portraying is on that cover.
Really? That you mean now?
Right now, in the last month.
Oh my gosh, I gotta take a look now because I love that movie.
Yeah. I do too.
So
that movie is absolutely so funny. Now we've got another one that Kash Hovey is in. So you guys, let's take a look at it, and then we're gonna have Kash explain what he did in it. This is available on Amazon right now. This is FML. What did you do in FML?
Oh wow, FML. That was wow. I didn't know that was on there. Wow, that was actually
surprise.
Wow. Okay, that's cool. FML was Actually, it was a series. I did an episode with another friend of mine, Gwendolyn Landry, where we were brother and sister, and I was helping her. She was dealing with addiction, and I was helping her get off of it. And gosh, I remember that was actually the team with Undateable John, and actually the writer of Undateable John. That was one of her projects before, and we did so there were a few characters I played. I think it was like Brent and Spence. We were like kind of these, one was like we were playing these rich kids in Beverly Hills, and that was it. We were assistants, and then we wanted to just break off and do our parents were making us do be assistants and work our way up, but we felt entitled, and then we had to and then we go off and we take this idea, we pick up a script and we try to make, so I guess it's a little bit like Hollywood.com. I mean, that was my recollection of what that particular project was, but I do remember so I remember that we shot a pilot for that, and then the episode I did do with Gwendolyn Landry was we were brother and sister, and we were I was helping her get over addiction.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, Ricky has a comment. I'd like to see someone do a movie about John Titor. He showed up on message boards back in 2000 to 2001 and claimed to be a time traveler from 2036. He was sent back from 2036 to 1975 to get an IBM 5100 computer because it was needed to debug various programs for the existing humanity in 2036. Look this story up. It's really interesting.
Are you pitching to us, Rich?
That is actually interesting, though.
We're getting a pitch.
Ricky,
live pitch.
Ricky loves the
Live
interviews, so
pitch.
I do believe
Right here.
for sure. I do believe that
Right
sounds
here.
really
With Alan
interesting.
Candace
And Caitlin says Full Metal Jacket, Gunnery Sergeant Hartman was classic. What is that, you guys?
Oh,
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket. He was the real life Marine. He just passed away not too long ago. You don't remember the guy who's about this size. He was like, hey, what's going on? You remember from the beginning of Full Metal Jacket. You know?
Yes, I know. Oh, I've definitely classic Kubrick.
Yeah. He was a real life gunnery sergeant in the Marine Corps. He lived in the Philippines for years, and they were making Apocalypse Now, and he played a helicopter pilot in Apocalypse Now, and Stanley Kubrick wanted somebody to actually train them, and he liked him so much that he put him in the movie.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
he's a feature, and then he's gone off to do other movies. He's the voice of the army guy in Toy Story.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's him. That's Army.
Oh,
Army.
that's
Army.
very, very
A long
cool.
career, yes.
Very cool.
I went to his house once to do a photo shoot.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
It was pretty scary. He was a pretty scary guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was.
Military stuff all over the wall.
There was Marine stuff. He had like Marine, the Bulldogs everywhere. I was talking to him. He was shining his Glock. He was like, and he was watching Fox News, and it was.
How interesting.
He had a real cow, a real bull in his backyard. And he was like, yeah, we're going to eat this thing.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. And he lived like in the middle of Palm Springs. and he had a helicopter pad. He goes, this is when people come to pick me up for appearances. They land the helicopter right there, and I just jump right in, and off I go on the whirly-bird. Boo! Yeah, he was a character. He definitely was a character. He was a real-life character.
Oh, that's so funny.
Great actor.
So, Kash, now, if people want to follow your career, if they want to see what you're doing on YouTube, they want to check out any upcoming projects that you've got going on, follow you on every feasible social media platform that you have, please, how would they go best doing that?
Plug.
Well, my name is Kash. It's with a K, so it's Kash. My last name is Hovey, Hovey. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Yeah, we're always posting. We always have great guests on the show, and now thank you. I get to add Alan Candace to my guest as well. So yeah, please, I really love connecting and meeting new people to collaborate with. And yeah, please send me your questions and ideas. I love it.
How did you get the name Kash? I just have to know. I love that name. It's so interesting. And with the K on top of it, is it a family name?
You know, my mom said I named myself. She said I was kicking in her stomach, and she kept hearing ka, ka, ka. And there's like, oh, I like Kash, and I'm going to name it with a K.
You're kidding me. Wait, when you were kicking, she kept hearing like a ka, ka, ka.
Yeah.
And so they made it up. I thought it was a family name.
No, they made it up. And then, well, my younger brother's named Nevada, so people think my parents were gamblers, like, you know, hey,
Kash and Nevada.
Hey, come on, honey, let's go to the casino with Kash.
So it's Nevada Hovey.
Nevada Hovey, yes.
Kash Hovey. That one's like Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Sorta.
That's so interesting. That is so cool. Anything upcoming?
His name was Junior.
Anything upcoming that you would like to tell our audience to get tuned into, or some upcoming guests that you have on your show? Anything like that?
Plug away.
All right. Let's see. Oh wow. Yeah, we do have. Well, now we have an episode with Alan Candace that plays in the next week. You can watch on my channel.
Gotta check it out.
Yes, exactly.
2 times.
Oh my gosh. Currently we have, on Friday, we had Kirsten Collins on. She's a singer. She has a new album coming out, and it's for Mental Health Awareness Month, and that's going to drop on May 14th. We did the interview a few days ago, and we're going to release that on Monday, as well as her album. We also have Trinity from American Idol. She's going to be a guest, and we're going to release her album. She has a new album coming out next week. So yeah, we've got a lot of great musicians, and also I've been talking to Kathy Cola. She has some new episodes that once it's safe to go back on set, we hope to get those in development. And we are scheduled to have another Kash, Hovey and Friends this November. So I hope everyone comes, and we'll have some great innovative films, and it would be just great. I think it would be a great way to just bring everyone back together after this past year.
That would be nice.
Oh, that's so awesome. Well, tell us real quick about Kash, Hovey and Friends again, for those who joined or have just joined since the beginning of the interview.
Absolutely. So this was a festival by Film Fest LA Live. They have a great, it's really, they're just really about artists. It's a full day event in mid-November. And about 3 years ago, they gave me this blog titled Kash, Hovey and Friends, where we'd have screenings of just some of my work, and then we'd really just have a block of a lot of our friends and colleagues that we've worked with who have created. I mean, we've had stand-ups, we've had musicians, music videos, short films, feature films. So it's really a great event where, you know, we have like the red carpet, and we have interviews, and you know, everyone gets to promote their work, and then we screen everything, and we get to celebrate everyone that we've collaborated with and worked with. It's just, it's a really inspirational evening. And really, I hope in November, we get to, I just hope we can go to the theaters. I think so. Everything's reopening now. So yeah, I just really can't wait for it. It's been, 2 years now. So it's going to be a great event. And I think we're going to have a lot of great content.
I miss popcorn.
Oh, awesome. I miss hot buttered popcorn with caramel on it, too.
Caramel?
You bet. You got to go all the way, I'm telling you. Anyways, thank you so much, Kash Hovey, for being with us here today. We had such an awesome time.
High five.
High five. We'll high five you. And awesome chat today. Thank you guys for engaging in Kash and talking to him and supporting his endeavors. You got to come back on again. We had such an awesome time with you.
Oh, anytime, please, Candace, Al. Thank you so much for your time. This is amazing. I'll chat with you anytime about movies.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well, thanks.
Well, thank you guys so much. So we're going to say bye to Kash, but we're going to stay along with it. Oh, and Ricky said